Cokely, cokely.
So, as I said, it's a little bit of one for the hips tonight. So we're going to start off seated, either with the feet out in front of you, cross-legged if you are comfortable cross-legged, or you can have your feet straight out or in straddle, whatever feels most comfortable for you to start with. And from whatever you choose, also you can sit on a block as well if you have one, if that's more comfortable. Just pop a block or a cushion onto your bum so that you can keep your back nice and tall. Throughout the class, if you need to rest, rest. If you need to modify something, modify something. It's your practice, so make it your own. And if something doesn't feel good, then just don't do it. But we'll start off just with some breath. So if you're comfortable to do so, just let your eyes gently close, and placing your left hand on your chest and your right hand on your belly. And just notice the breath and how well you're breathing this evening. Noticing whether the breath is in your chest or your belly or a mixture of the both. Noticing where the breath moves the body. Noticing the length of the inhale and the length of the exhale. Noticing the quality of your unique breath this evening. Excellent. And then gently bringing your hands down, allow your eyes to flutter open, and we'll do a few block breaths. So inhaling the arms up above the head for a count of 4. Holding the breath at the top for a count of 4. Exhaling out to the sides for a count of 4. And then leaving the hands in your lap for the count of 4. Inhale up, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. In. Hold. Out. Hold. In. Hold. Out. Hold. In. Hold. Out. Hold. And just letting the breath come back to normal. Take the hands straight out in front of you, palms facing towards me, fingers up to the sky. And then really stretch those fingers back towards your forearms. And then keeping the arms straight out from your shoulders, bring the fingertips down and stretch your fingers towards the forearms. Inhaling them up, exhaling them down, inhaling them up, exhaling them down, inhaling them up, exhaling them down. And taking the arms straight above the head with the fingers pointing towards the sky and the palms towards one another. Inhale to really open the hands, stretching those fingertips down towards the floor. And then as you exhale, roll them in and make a fist so you feel a stretch down the forearms. So inhale to open, really stretching out the fingertips. Exhale, close them in and make a fist. Inhale to open. Exhale, close and make a fist. Inhale, open. Close and make a fist. Excellent. And bring the hands back down into your lap. And just do a few circles through the shoulders, really hunching them up to the ears and then rolling those shoulder blades down the back. And then take them in the other direction. So squeezing the shoulder blades together and then rolling the shoulders forwards. Then taking the left hand, pop it underneath your bum and sit on it. And then take your right ear over towards your right shoulder. Really grounding down through the sit bones so you feel a nice stretch down the side of the neck. Relaxing the shoulder down, and if you need extra, you can always take the right hand up and over and just gently apply a bit of pressure to the neck. Equally, if you want to be kinder to yourself today, you can always give yourself a little massage down that muscle. And if you suffer from headaches, you can take your chin up on the diagonal so it stretches into the front of your neck, which is a really good one for easing tension in the neck. Couple more breaths here. And gently bring the head back up to center. Untuck the hand and then take the right hand underneath your bum and sit on your right hand. And then take the left ear towards the left shoulder. So start just by stretching out those muscles, relaxing the shoulder down. Maybe applying a bit of extra pressure by placing the hand on the head. Or maybe being kind to yourself and giving those muscles a little massage. And just notice how one side feels compared to the other side. And again, if you feel like taking the chin up on the diagonal to change the stretch more into the front of the neck, then do that too. And wherever you're at, we'll have another 2 breaths in this pose. Then bring that head up to center. Unhook the hand, interlace the fingers, and place the curve of the back of your skull into your palms. Take the chin down towards the chest, and then press the head into the hands as much as you press the hands into the head. Couple of breaths here. And releasing off the hands, bringing the head back up to center. Take the left arm up above your head. Bend the elbow and drop the hand down the back. And take the other hand up, place it on the elbow, and just gently tease that hand down your back. Try and keep your head up straight. Try and keep the armpit open towards the ceiling. And try and aim your fingers for your spine. If it's in your practice and you want to take the lower arm around the bind and clasp your hands behind your back, I couldn't get that word out there, then feel free to do the bind, it's up to you. But really concentrate on trying to open up that upper back, keeping the elbow up towards the ceiling. One more inhale here. Good, and then on the exhale, release it off and switch to the other side. So take the right arm up, bend at the elbow, drop the hand, and then tease it down the back with your hand on the elbow to start with. Trying to keep that armpit open so you're not curving in the back, you want a nice long back. And then if it's in your practice and you want to go for the bind, take the bottom hand around and clasp the hands together in between your shoulder blades. And just have a few breaths on this side. Excellent. And then release those arms off, bring both hands to the floor, and then uncross your legs and tuck them around towards the left. So both legs are tucked around towards the left. And taking your right hand towards the mat, we'll reach the top arm over and really stretch through the fingertips. Really keeping that armpit open to the ceiling and really stretching out down the sides of the ribs. Nice big inhale here, really expanding through the rib cage. And then exhale, reach out through the fingertips. Then inhale, come up through center. Bring the left arm to lay in your lap. Reach the right arm up over your head in the other direction, so stretching down the other side. Inhaling deep into those ribs. And then exhaling, stretching out through those fingertips, really feeling the stretch from the armpit all the way down to the hip. Inhale up through center and then over to the other side. Really reaching out through those fingers. Really reach. Then on your next inhale, come up through center and exhale over to the other side. Again, really reaching through those fingers. And inhale up to center, bring the hands to the floor, and then just tuck your legs around to the other side, and we'll do the other side. So first of all, taking the left hand to the floor and reaching the right arm over. Nice big inhale here into the ribs, and then stretch out through the fingertips. And then inhale up through center, bring the right arm into the lap, and then reach the left arm over. Really exhale as you reach through those fingertips. Inhale up through center, exhale over. And then inhale up through center and exhale over. Good. Coming back up through center, place the hands down, bring the legs out in front of you. Tuck the left leg up and place the foot over the knee. And then we'll wrap the long leg around. So it's like we're going to come into a seated twist. But this time what we're going to try and do is wiggle this foot over a little bit so that we come into cow-faced legs. Ideally, you want your knees to be over the top of one another. If that's not in your practice, and here is where you get to, with your foot still on the floor, then that's absolutely fine. But see if you can wiggle it over, even if it's just a millimetre. Also, you'll find we've all got different hips, so our feet will end up in different places. Just take a couple of breaths in this pose, trying to sit nice and tall. It's going to feel a stretch in different places for all of you, depending on how you use your body on a daily basis. So just have a couple of deep breaths there. And try to release anywhere that you're holding. Our whole body tends to go like this when we get into an uncomfortable position. So just try and relax into the pose with each exhale. One more inhale here. Exhale, see if you can lean forward a little bit, maybe even bringing your fingertips towards the floor. And just feel how that changes the stretch in the legs, the hips, the glutes, wherever you're feeling it. And just take a couple of breaths there. Excellent. And walk your hands back in and come up, back up to seated. Untangle the top leg and untangle the bottom leg. And then take the left leg out long and step the right foot over. And then wrap that left leg around. And then if you can, wiggle out the foot. you'll find that one side is much more flexible than the other side. So I'm much tighter on this side. I can't get anywhere near as close as I did on the other side. But just have a few breaths to start with in the starting position, trying to keep the spine up tall and trying to relax where you might be feeling any tension in the body. And then again, we'll come and lean forward. So stretching the fingers down towards the floor and stretching the chest towards that front knee. Just a couple of breaths here. Excellent. Then walk your way back up, untangle your legs and make your way around into tabletop. So from tabletop, a couple of rounds of cat-cow. So as you inhale, let the belly come down, sit bones go up towards the ceiling and you look up. As you exhale, really curve through the spine, tucking that tailbone under, pulling the tummy in. Inhale as you come down, really pushing the ground away with your fingertips. And then exhale, really reach up that middle spine towards the ceiling, pulling the tummy in. Inhale as you go down, and exhale as you go up. Coming back to neutral, take a nice big inhale, and as you exhale, bring the leg out to the side into fire hydrant. And then inhale the leg back down, exhale it up, inhale it down, exhale it up, inhale it down. Then let's move to the other side. A nice big inhale, exhale the leg up to the side, inhale it down, exhale it up, inhale it down, exhale it up. Put the knee back down again. And take the right leg out behind you, cross it over left, drop the toes down towards the floor, then look around towards those toes. Big stretch down the right side of the body. Nice big inhale here. Really inhaling and expanding those ribs. And then exhale the head back to center, bring the leg back around and place the knee back down. Moving to the other side, take the left leg out behind you, cross it over and drop the toes down to the floor, then look around towards those toes. Inhaling really deeply into the ribs, really stretching out the left side of the body. And then as you exhale, bring the head back to center and bring the knee back to tabletop. Then really trying to get some movement in our spine, trying to keep the hips and the shoulders as still as possible. Really circle around through the middle back, trying to get those bones moving. Once you've done a few circles one way, do some the other way. And then coming back to neutral, we'll start circling around the wrists. Tiny circles to start with, bringing the weight forwards and around. And then gradually make those circles bigger and bigger and bigger until you're coming all the way back to your heels and all the way over the front of the wrists. Again, really getting some movement into the spine. And then take it in the other direction. So starting small and then gradually getting larger and larger until your hips go all the way back to your heels and all the way over the front. And then coming back up to center, circle through the hips. So this time trying to keep the shoulders still and just circling through those hips. Do a few one way and then a few in the other direction. Really trying to get that pelvic bone moving. Okay, and then this time, coming back to your neutral position, making sure the knees are below the hips and your hands are slightly forward of the shoulders. Really ground down through the fingers with the fingers spread wide. Really ground down through the left knee and the left foot. And then lift the right leg up behind you with the knee bent. And then try and open that hip so we get a bit of a stretch through the psoas muscle. And then if it's in your practice and you want to, you can reach around with the opposite arm and see if you can grasp hold of the foot. Otherwise, stay with your hands on the ground and just really reach that hip up and open. It's exactly the same stretch, whichever way you do it. Sometimes we topple over too. Then let go of that stretch if you have a hold of the bind. Bring the right knee back down to the floor and then take the left knee up. So keeping that knee bent, really pressing down through the hands and the fingers, through the right knee and the right foot and the right shin bone. Opening up that hip, stretching the toes over towards the right shoulder. And if you want to go for the bind, if you can try and find your foot, then feel free to do that. Make sure you focus on what you're doing so you don't fall over like I did. Holding onto the foot, kicking back with the foot, pulling the core in. And then release that off, bring the foot back down to the ground, tuck the toes, and take our hips up into our first downward dog. So really stretching through the fingers, fingers are wide, wrist creases are in line with the top of the mat. Just maybe step one heel down to the ground as you bend the opposite leg. And then maybe take the other heel down as you bend the opposite leg. Just gradually stretching out down the backs of the legs. Taking the chest towards the thighs. Legs can be as bent as is comfortable for you. Really pressing the ground away with the hands. Wrapping the shoulders around the side of the body. One more breath here. And then we'll tiptoe towards the tops of our mats. Bending the knees as much as you need, coming up onto the fingertips if you need to, until you get to the top of the mat. Bend the knees a lot. Let your head hang heavy. And then if you can grasp your fingertips together behind your back, do that. And then stretch your arms out. So stretching through the shoulders. The weight of our body is still on our thighs. Maybe nod the head, maybe shake the head. You can stay here if that feels good. Or if you want to increase the stretch, you can straighten the legs, stretch the chest towards the floor, towards the thighs, and then allow your hands to stretch towards the floor. If you're doing the straighter legged version, make sure you engage the muscles in your legs so that you're strong. And really try and reach that chest towards the knees. If you've got straight legs, bend them again so that your torso is laying on your thighs. Bring the hands back towards your hips and down towards the floor. Inhale into a halfway lift. And then exhale, fold forward. Inhale, roll slowly, bone by bone by bone by bone, all the way up to the top, reaching the arms up above your head. Exhale, hands to heart center. 3 breaths here. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, hands back to heart center. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Good. Hands at heart center. Press the palms towards one another. Ground down through the right foot. Step the left leg back into crescent lunge. Really ground down here before we move any further. Press the hands together so you've got strength through the arms and the shoulders. Let the hips sink down towards the mat. Really ground down through that front leg. Couple of breaths here. Then inhale the arms up above our heads. Exhale, bring the torso forward and the arms down in line with the body. Inhale the arms up. Exhale as you come forward. Inhale the arms up. Exhale as you come forward. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, bring them back to heart center and press the palms together. Bending the back leg, step forwards back up to the tops of our mats. Nice big inhale up. And then exhale the hands back down to heart center. This time step the right leg back, grounding down through the feet. Let the hips sink down, stretching out through that back leg, finding your stability. Find something to focus on. Nice bend in the front knee, but you should still be able to see your toes in front of the knee. Inhale the arms up above your head. Exhale, lean the torso forward, bring the arms by your sides. Inhale up. Exhale, come forward. Inhale up. Exhale, forward. One more. Inhale up. Exhale, forward. Then inhale the arms up. Exhale the hands back to heart center. Press those hands together so the shoulders are engaged. Take a bend in the back knee and step forward to the tops of our mats again. Inhale the arms all the way up this time. And then exhale, fold forward. Bend the knees as much as you need. Take the left leg back, and this time twist the foot and bring the heel to the ground so that you're in warrior two legs. And then wing the other arms up into warrior two. We're looking out over the front fingertips. Keeping a bend in the front knee. You should be able to see your toes in front of the knee. Flip the front palm. Inhale as you go back into reverse warrior. And then exhale, bring the front arm to the knee and reach the left arm over. Inhale as you come up into reverse warrior. And then exhale as you come forward into side angle. Inhale as you come up into reverse. And then exhale, come forwards into side angle. Stretching that top arm over. Inhale, wimble back up to warrior two. Get really strong in your warrior two, grounding down through the feet. Really engaging the muscles in the legs. Keeping the torso above the hips. Stretching out through the fingers. Making sure the arms are engaged. One more inhale here. And then exhale, windmill the hands around to the front, twisting onto the back toes, and then step the front foot back into plank. You can either do knees, chest, chin, or come down through chaturanga, and then coming into your cobra, or your up dog, whichever you prefer. Exhaling, coming back down to the mat, tuck the toes, take the hips back towards the heels, and then coming back up into downward facing dog. Keeping the right leg on the ground, the right foot on the ground, float the left leg up, bend at the knee, open the hip, and stretch through that deep muscle that attaches our upper body to our lower body, the psoas. Stretching those toes towards the right shoulder over your back. And then bring the hips back to neutral, stretch out the leg, and then swing it forward behind your left wrist. Then step the right leg behind your right wrist. Exhale, deep fold, allowing the upper belly to lay on the upper legs. Inhale, halfway lift. And then exhale, fold. And then inhale all the way up to the top. And exhale the hands down to heart center. And then we'll do the other side. So inhale the arms up above your head. And then exhale, fold forward. Really deep fold. Inhale into a halfway lift. And then exhale, fold the upper body onto the thighs. Take the right foot back this time. And this time, drop the right heel to the ground. Inhale the arms up and wimble them open into warrior two. Good. So make sure you can see your toes in front of the front knee. Really stretch out through the arms, grounding down through that back leg. Let the hips sink a little. Get really comfortable in your warrior two legs. Your legs are strong and they will stay exactly where they are as you flip the front palm. Inhale back into reverse warrior. Exhale, come forward, elbow to knee. Stretch the top arm over. Inhale as you come up into reverse warrior, keeping that bend in the front knee. Exhale, come forwards, reach the top arm over. Inhale, come all the way up into reverse. And then exhale, come forward, elbow to knee. Stretch that top arm over. And then windmill the arms back up to warrior two. Get really strong in warrior two. Grounding down through the feet. Legs are really strong. Really stretching out through the fingertips. Gazing over the front hand. Arms are engaged. Belly pulled in. Torso is directly above the hips. Couple of breaths here. Then on your next exhale, windmill the hands around, twist onto the toes of the back foot, and bring the hands down to the mat. Step the front foot back to plank. Knees, chest, chin, or bring the weight forward and come down through chaturanga, and then into your cobra or your up dog. Stretching that chest forward, finding a bit of space in the lower back. Legs engaged if you're an up dog. Exhale, come down to the mat. Take the hips back towards the heels. And then press up into your downward facing dog. Maybe a little bit of a pad through the heels here. Make sure you've got a good down dog set up. Stretching the chest towards the thighs. And then floating the right leg up behind you, bending at the knee, open the hip towards the ceiling, and really stretch those toes over, trying to get those toes towards that left shoulder this time. Really stretching through that muscle that attaches the upper body to the lower body, the psoas muscle. Then bring the hips back to center, straighten out that top leg, and then step it all the way forward behind the right wrist. Step the other foot forwards and hang in your forward fold, upper body resting on the thighs. Then inhale up into a halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward all the way down. Inhale all the way up to the top. Exhale, hands back to heart center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, long back, long neck. Exhale, fold forward. This time, take the left leg back, ground down through that heel, and we'll come up into our warrior two again, keeping the toes in front of the knee, but we want a nice bend in that front knee. Letting the hips drop down. If you feel you're too upright, you can always take a bigger step. And then bring the hands behind the body, joining at the fingertips. Stretch those arms out, and then keeping the legs as strong as you can. Fold forward into humble warrior. So your chest is coming to the inside of the front knee. Let the head hang. Just have a couple of breaths here. Then imagine that I've come around to your house and I'm holding onto your hands and pulling you all the way back up the way that you came in by your hands until you're back upright. Release off the hands, windmill them around to frame the front foot and come onto the toes of the back foot. Step that front foot back to plank. This time push up into downward dog and then come forward into plank. Push up into downward dog. Come forward into plank. Push up into downward dog. Come forward into plank. And then take either your knees and your chest and your chin to the ground, or come down through chaturanga and then into your cobra or your up dog. Stretch that chest forward. Find some length along the front of the body. Try and find some length down the back of the body. Exhale back down to the mat. Tuck the toes. Take the hips back towards the heels. Press back up into your downward facing dog. Couple of breaths here. Then bend the knees and either step, jump, tiptoe, or walk to the top of your mat. Inhale into a halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward, letting your upper body rest on your thighs. Inhale all the way up to the top. Exhale, hands back to heart center. Other side, inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Right leg this time. Step it back, ground down through the heel, and then windmill up to warrior two on this side. Making sure you can see your toes in front of your knee. Back leg is nice and long, hips are facing the side. Drop the hands down, interlace the fingers behind your back. Stretch the arms out. Keeping that length in the spine. Fold the body forward so that the chest comes to the inside of the front knee. And then reach the hands towards the floor so you're stretching through the shoulders and the chest. Couple of breaths here in humble warrior. And then imagining like I'm lifting you up from your fingers again. Use your core strength to come all the way back up. Release the fingers off, back out into warrior two. And then windmill those hands back to frame the front foot. Twisting onto the toes of the back foot, step the front foot back to plank. Push up into your downward facing dog. Exhale, come forward into plank. Inhale, go up into downward dog. Exhale, forward into plank. One more, inhale up. Exhale, forward into plank. Then chaturanga of your choice. Either knees, chest, chin, or come down through full chaturanga. And then inhale into cobra or up dog, depending on what you chose. Stretching through the front body, stretching through the back body. Really stretching that chest towards the front of your mat. Exhale, come back down, tuck the toes. Push your hips back towards your heels. Back up into downward dog and have a couple of breaths here. And bending the knees a lot. Look forward and either step, jump, walk or hop towards the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And bend the knees a lot and inhale all the way up to the top. And then exhale, hands back to heart center. Keeping your hands at heart center. You can either have them in prayer or in eagle hands. So as if you were making shadow puppets on the wall. So if you're doing eagle hands, you cross your wrists, hook your thumbs and just have your fingers out wide. Bring the right leg up so that your knee is straight out from your hip. Taking a nice big inhale here, really ground down through the standing leg. Squeeze all of the muscles in your left leg, in your left bum. Pull the core muscles in. And then moving from the hips, tilt the body forward as your leg goes back into flamingo. Now your point of focus is going to be just at the front of your yoga mat. So really pull everything in again. Really trying to concentrate. Stretch that right leg out to the back. Point the toes, or maybe flex the foot. See which helps you better. And then bending that front knee if you need to. Bring the fingertips to the floor. Keeping that right leg stretched out behind us. We'll circle it all the way around, getting into the sides of the hip joint until the foot comes down to meet the left on the mat. Take that leg straight out the back and then circle it all the way around to the side till it comes back to the mat. Then take it out to the back again and circle it all the way around the side, back to the mat. Good, it's a tough one. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, all the way up to the top. Exhale, hands back to heart center. Other side, so either hands in prayer or in eagle hands, up to you. Bring the left knee up this time. Ground down through the right leg. Make all of the muscles in the right leg strong and engaged. Really squeeze the right bum cheek. Pull the core muscles in. Relax the shoulders down the back. Press the hands either into one another or away from each other. And then moving from the hips, tilt the body forward until you come into flamingo. Stretching the back out long, keeping that right leg engaged. Stretch the left leg out towards the back. Really keeping strong, keeping your point of focus. Keep the tummy pulled in. And then take the hands towards the floor, bending the knee if you need to. Really stretching out through that back leg. Circle it around to the left this time. And bring it down to meet the right leg. Take the left leg out to the back. Circle it around until it comes back to the floor. Then take it out the back once more. Circle it around to the side and bring it to the floor. Good stuff. Inhale, halfway left. Exhale, fold forward, bend the knees. Inhale, all the way up to the top. Exhale, hands back to heart center. This time we'll do eagle, last standing pose. So inhale the arms up above the head. As you exhale, swing the right arm under the left. And then you can either hold onto your shoulders or you can wrap the forearms and try and hold onto the hands. Then sit down into chair. Grounding down through your feet. Lift up the right leg, cross it over the left, squeezing the inner thighs towards one another. If it's in your practice and you want to wrap the leg, you can take the foot around the back of the left calf and tuck the toe inside the ankle. Sit down in your eagle. Make sure that you've got a point of focus. Pull the tummy muscles in. Try and lift the elbows up. Try and sit a little bit deeper. Really grounding down. 2 more breaths here. Then untangle the legs. Standing up, untangle the arms. Inhale the arms up above our heads. This time, cross the left underneath the right. And either hold onto the shoulders or wrap the forearms and try and hold onto the wrists. Sit down in your chair and get your bum nice and low. Lift the left leg up, cross it over the right. Squeeze those inner thighs towards one another. If it's in your practice and you want to go for the wrap, then do the wrap. Try and keep the hips facing forwards. Sit down a little bit deeper, find a point of focus, lift up the elbows to get the stretch in the shoulders. Couple of breaths here. Really press the foot into the mat. Make sure that your weight is balanced between the balls of your feet and your heels. Sit down a little bit deeper. Lift up the chest. One more inhale. And then exhale, standing up, release the legs, release the arms. Now we'll come all the way down to the floor. So take the feet as wide as your yoga mat. And if you want to come down to Malasana into your yogi squat, come down into a yogi squat. Really pressing the elbows on your knees to get into the hips. And then bring your bum all the way onto the floor. Turning, well, I'm going to turn so you can see what I'm up to anyway. we're going to do some 90-90 legs. So your right shin needs to be parallel with the front, and then you take your left leg straight out from your hip. So it's like two sides of a Catherine wheel. And then try to sit up tall. Couple of little leans forward over that front knee. Going as low as is comfortable. And everybody will feel the stretch differently in this one. Couple more breaths here. And then walk yourself back up. And then turn so that you're facing diagonally, but up above your hips. And then walk the body forward slightly in the diagonal. And again, this will get everybody in a different place because we're all tied together slightly differently. And some of us will be able to go much deeper in some directions than other directions. So just be gentle with yourself. Then walking your hands back in again. This time we're going to turn away from our legs into the opposite diagonal. And really trying to keep our sit bones on the floor as much as is possible. I appreciate that maybe not both sit bones are on the floor right now. Stretch your chest towards the ground and just take a note as to where you are with these three different stretches. And then inhale as you come back up, take the hands towards your chest, and without putting our hands down onto the ground, we're going to swing around on our bum until we make the same shape with our legs on the other side. Beautiful stuff. Then taking the hands down, first of all, we'll walk straight forwards. So taking the torso directly above the thigh of the left leg that's in front of us. And just notice where you are compared to the other side. Whether you were looser, tighter, about the same. With each exhale, trying to release off any areas of tension. And then walk the hands back in. Turn so that you're diagonally facing your legs and walk the chest forwards in that direction. Again, just noticing where it gets you this side, trying to send the breath into those tight spots. Then walking your hands back up, turn your body so that you're diagonally facing away from your legs, and then walk the torso out that way, trying to keep the sit bones as much in contact with the floor as you can. And just noticing again where the tight spots are on this side, whether you're more open, whether you're more restricted. And inhaling your way back up, bringing your hands to heart center, and then moving through the hips over to one side, and then moving them over towards the other side. So really using the mobility in your hips and your core to move from one side to the other. Good. And then stop on one side. It doesn't matter which one because we're going to do both. But whichever leg is at the front, the shin should be parallel to the side of your yoga mat. And then you've got different options for this one. You can step the knee across and just try and reach the sit bone back towards the floor. Or if you feel you might be able to go a bit further, then both sit down, bones down, cross the ankle across the thigh, and just gently see if you can push or lean forward to get this knee closer towards this foot. This is a really difficult pose for me because my hips rotate the other way more easily. So yeah, it's excruciating, but you know, it's a good stretch. I find if I move a little bit and play with tensing different muscles and then releasing them, I can sometimes go a little bit deeper. And also, if I lean forward a bit more, it gives me a bit more room in my hips to be able to stretch slightly deeper into the pose. And then coming out of that, untangle your top leg, move the bottom leg out the way and switch to the other side. So starting off with the shin parallel to the side of your mat, either cross the foot over and stretch the sit bone down towards the floor, or if you feel like you can go a bit further, cross the ankle over the knee bone and then try and get this knee closer to this foot. And again, have a little play with what muscles you need to release, what muscles you need to tense in order to get a bit deeper. Try and release the tension with the breath. And if you need to lean forward, if that helps, then lean forwards. Excellent. And then untangle your hips. I think that's plenty of that. Let's move sideways onto our mat and roll all the way down onto the floor. Start by stretching the left leg out long and hugging the right knee in towards the chest. Interlace the fingers over that knee and then move the knee towards the side of the body and pull it in towards the right shoulder. Really tensing through the left leg, grounding down through that sit bone, making sure that the bum stays on the ground. Grounding down through the calf, grounding down through the heel. The right foot, on the other hand, is completely relaxed, and you're using your arm strength and your shoulder muscles to pull that knee in towards your shoulder. Really pull, 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 and then completely relax and release that leg off. Then hug the left knee in. Interlace the fingers over the top of your shin. Take the knee towards the side and then pull it in towards your left shoulder. Left foot is nice and relaxed. Right leg is engaged. Pressing the calf and the heel into the ground. Making sure the bum stays on the ground. And then use your arm and your shoulder strength to pull the left knee in towards the shoulder. Really pull, pull. A little bit more, and then release and relax that leg down towards the mat. Then hug both knees in. Make sure your back is nice and comfortable. And then sit up slightly and hook your elbows over your knees and grab where you can. You might grab your hands, your wrists, maybe your forearms, maybe even your elbows, and then roll back down onto the mat. Really squeezing those knees in as tight to your chest as you can. Try and lengthen the back onto the mat as much as you can. Pulling those knees in with your shoulder and your arm strength. Really pull, squeeze tightly. And then completely relax and release onto the mat, legs out long. And then do whatever pose you want to do. We've obviously done a lot on hips this evening. So if you want to stretch out your hip flexors, maybe do a bit of windscreen wipering from one side to the other side. If you'd rather do a bridge pose, then really ground down through the feet and lift those hips up. Maybe even take a bind with the arms underneath the body. Or you might, if you're feeling super flexible in your hips, want to finish with a happy baby, holding onto the feet and pulling the knees into the armpits. Or you can do any other pose that your body feels that it wants to do this evening. It's entirely up to you. It's your practice. So if there's something your body is craving, then do it. And then whichever pose you are in, let it go. Take your arms straight out from your shoulders. Hug the knees in towards the chest And then let those knees roll over towards the left, looking out over your right shoulder into a gentle twist. Really taking the breath deep into the body and then exhaling, relaxing and releasing onto the mat. 3 deep breaths here. Closing your eyes if you want to. And bring your head back to center on an inhale. On an exhale, pull the core in and then roll the hips back to center. Take a nice big inhale at center. And then as you exhale, roll the knees over towards the right and look out over the left shoulder. Trying to relax everything onto the mat, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the legs, relaxing the hips. Trying to make sure you're not holding tension anywhere. 3 deep breaths. And bringing your head back to center. On your next exhale, pull the core in and then roll the hips back onto the mat. And then stretch the legs out long into Savasana. Bringing the arms down by the side and tucking the shoulder blades underneath the body. Make sure the lower back is comfortable. Any issues in the lower back, you can always bring your feet to the floor and let the knees roll in. Or you can bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees roll out. It's entirely up to you. Just get really, really comfortable in Savasana. And just bring the awareness back to the breath. Not trying to control it in any way. Just watching the breath as it flows in and flows out of the body. Inhaling as the body expands. And then watching as things soften on the exhale. Gently bringing the awareness back to the body. Maybe wiggling the fingertips, maybe wiggling the toes. Maybe stretching out the fingers and making a fist. Maybe circling through the wrists or the ankles. Maybe rolling the head to one side or the other side. Move your body in whatever way it craves. If you want to stretch, then stretch. If you want to twist, then twist. And if you want to hug your knees in, then hug your knees in. And then when you're ready, roll over onto your side and come up to seated. And we'll finish with 3 deep breaths, which you can do laid if you want to stay where you are. In through the nose and out through the mouth. And if you'd like to do lion's breath, then hands on the knees, really stretch the chest forward and poke your tongue out as far as it will go. So here we go, 3 breaths to finish. Excellent. Thank you for practicing with me this evening. I hope you enjoyed it.